Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the webinar on virtual classes, the new normal. I am Dr. Dedeepya. I am a developmental pediatrician at Fernandez Hospital, and the other speaker for today is Dr. Madhavi. She is our psychologist and behavior therapist. So today in my talk, I'll be covering about the prevalence of screen time in children, media influence on development of children, recommendations on screen time, current scenario, how it has changed the things, and the recommendations for parents. So if you look at this picture, it's not a very uncommon sight nowadays in the houses. So the entire generation is getting exposed pretty early with the smartphones, tablets, and gadgets. And if you look at the data, this is the US data. So the screen time was studied in children among 1 to 5 years of ages. And if we look at this, 50% of the children were exposed at least 1 hour per day, and 43% less than 1 hour a day, and only 7.4% were not being exposed to gadgets. And coming to the Indian data, if we look at this is from 2015 to 19, there was a drastic increase in the number of users, internet users in India. And currently in 2020, it is 600 million, and it's expected to cross this in 2021. So the new research shows that the screen time is definitely changing the brain of the child, but we are not yet sure how and how much. So let's see about why are we discussing so much about screen time and the brain of the children. So if you look at this picture on my right, there are some network kind of things which we'll be seeing. So that is the first picture will be showing the neuron formation at birth. And if you see, the density keeps on increasing by 2 years of age. So the density of neurons, how it increases and what stimuli we give, that is a very important factor in determining how the brain of the child grows. So the brain of a term child is underdeveloped at birth. And most of the development, it happens in the first 2 years of life. So the genes are definitely the bricks and motor to the brain, but the environment, what we provide as parents, is the architect. So it's very important for us to give the correct environmental stimuli for the better growth of the child. So as I discussed, the growing human brain is constantly building neural connections even after birth. And what happens is pruning away the less used ones. So the digital media use, it definitely plays a very active role in this process. Brain shrinks with impressment and grows in an enriched environment at any age. So environmental stimulation is very critical for enhancing and maintaining the cognitive function of the child. So we have to be flexible enough to understand and evolve with the technology, but choose how to use it rightly. So let's see about screen time and how it impacts the development in children. So this is a data collected from Bombay. So what they have done is they have studied about media exposure and use in children from 0 to 5 years of age in children who have already been diagnosed with neurodevelopmental disability. This is a very recent study, if you see 2020 August. So they have collected a sample size of 423 children who have already been diagnosed with a neurodevelopmental disability below 5 years of age. And they have given a self-report survey to the parents of these children. So what the study concluded is that premature mobile exposure and frequent use and lack of awareness about the effects of mobile media use definitely had a significant impact with this neurodevelopmental disability. Coming to another study on screen time and brain cognition, high levels of early childhood television viewing definitely resulted in reduced time for social interactions, and it prevents the development of adequate social skills. So children who watch television around 1 and 3 years of age, if you look at 1 and 3 years of age, they were found to have had significant increase in developing of attention problems by 7 years of age. So with each hour of television which was being watched per day, there was a 9% increase in problems which were consistent with the diagnosis of ADHD. So ADHD is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. This is another study which was done in Canada. So Sherry Madigan and her colleagues, they have studied a huge sample size of 2,440 mothers and their children. So from ages 2 to 5 years. So they have the screening tools were tested, the screen time and the children's communication skills, behavior, and the social interactions. And this was done at regular intervals at 2 years, 3 years, and 5 years. And what this study concluded is too much screen time, it could affect the kids' development in a couple of possible ways, but it did not prove the cause and effect link. So what this means is that any child who's been exposed to screen time at an early age will definitely have some kind of developmental issues. But it doesn't mean that every child who has developmental issues had been exposed previously to gadgets. Coming to the brain structure and screen time, if we see, excessive screen time has been linked to the structural brain differences, including gray matter and white matter changes and reduced cortical thickness. So the affected functions are mainly in the information processing, impulse control, and the development of empathy. So there are the couple of risks of screen time are that, like when definitely, as I told you, when a child is watching a screen, he or she is missing out on the opportunity for walking, talking, and interacting with others. So exposing children to too much of screen time can have negative impacts definitely on their development. But apart from that, even for others, they will have unhealthy eating habits, obesity, psychological issues like stress, anxiety, depression, sleep disturbances, eye strain, nearsightedness, poor academic performance, decreased quality of life, and addiction to gadgets. So now this addiction to gadgets, why all of them are glued to gadgets nowadays? So there is a chemical in the brain which is called as dopamine, and this simulates a kind of addictive substance when children watch too much of TV, gadgets, and play video games. So that is the reason it can lead to addiction. So with all these things, if you have any doubt of why are we giving children screens and all this, definitely there are some positives. So webcam interactions with the family and friends can help young children form bonds and learn new words. And video games definitely improve visual spatial capabilities, problem solving and logical thinking, hand-eye coordination, quick thinking and decision making, responding to challenges and frustrations, math and reading skills, self-confidence and self-esteem. Staying connected with family and friends, definitely, and exchanging ideas through others, community engagement, and getting creative with blogs, videos, connecting with others from diverse backgrounds, fostering individual identity and unique social skills are some of the benefits. So the recent guidelines on how much screen time is allowed for children under 18 months old, there is no screen time which is recommended. 18 to 24 months, also there is no screen time, but they can do video chatting with their grandparents or any family members for a limited amount of time. So for children 2 to 5 years old, less than 1 hour per day of high quality educational programming is recommended, with parents watching along with them. And more than 6 years of age, consistent supervision and limits have to be put on them. So what's the current scenario? If we look at the previous slides, what I mentioned, it was before the lockdown, things are different. And in this current scenario, it has changed a lot of things. So lockdown has exaggerated the media use among children, which was already a major concern before. So school closures and the restricted outside movement make children spend the entire day indoors. However, the digital media, which was always blamed in the pre-COVID times, it restores normalcy to some extent in this period by facilitating online education, entertainment, and it also helped us connecting with family and friends. So the confusion over here for clinicians is always that the decisions what we make for children and families concerning technology are often not based completely on the scientific evidence, what I mentioned to you before. So the decisions are made on the personal and anecdotal experiences of that particular family. And not all screen time is the same. That is something very important to understand. If you look at this picture over here, where two families are viewing screen with their child, there is a complete different experience what they are undergoing by looking at the screen. So engaging together as a family makes more sense rather than just individually watching screens with children. So we need to remember the 3 C's, which is a very important thing. I emphasize this is a very important thing when you're giving screens to your child. Remember, you have to remember child content and context when you are giving screens. So child, in the sense, we need to understand what are the child's interests. If the child is experiencing some disturbance of too much loud noises, or he doesn't like violence, we need to make sure that we are not getting him exposed to that kind of content. And parents are the best people to know this, and they should know what's best for their child before giving them that content. And now, coming to the content, it definitely matters and makes a lot of difference to what a child is watching at what age. So for that, if you can go into this commonsensmedia.org, so this will give you some kind of idea on what apps are recommended at what age with reviews from parents. And in what context we are using screen time also is very important. So if it is for connecting with family, friends, it's a good thing. And if you are having a family time together, watching movies and enjoying together and interacting in that context, it will be a good way of engaging in screens. So, what are the possible red flags we need to remember when children are viewing a lot of gadgets? So, when do we realize that okay, this is too much now? So, a child who is unable to control his usage of gadgets, and a child who can't adhere to the limits which are set by the parent regard to how long he can spend online. And if he's having loss of interest in activities that don't involve technology, and if he's too glued to technology related things and that is what is occupying his thoughts, that's when you should understand that definitely these are the red flags for him. Now, what are some of the things which we can do to prevent all this? So, getting involved with media and co-engaging is a very important thing. So, get your whole family involved in media together to facilitate social interactions and learning. So, it should be a two-way thing when you are viewing gadgets with children. And if it's not a very good way to just put screen in front of them and telling them to watch something. So, if you and your kid love video games, play together. And if definitely your perspective influences how your child understands their media experience as well. So continue to engage your children in both the real and the virtual environment. Be a good role model. So limit your own media usage. If we are watching TV and telling them no, you have to go and sit in your room and study, that would not work out. So limiting your own media use and modeling this behavior for your children would go in a long run in a very well way. And researching the apps, as I mentioned to you, look for organizations like Common Sense Media where they give you a review on age appropriate apps, games, and programs so that we know that the content is appropriate for the kid. Playtime is very important. Encourage outdoor activities. Because of this lockdown, they are obviously stuck inside, but at least somewhere outside the house, if they can do some cycling and outdoor activities, it will be good. Reintroduce old-fashioned games, what our grandparents and parents have taught us. Indulge in activity-based learning, and introduce your child to arts and craft, which is a fun way of engaging them. Get reading with your child. This is a very great habit to start young. So read with your child and encourage that habit. Create media-free times and areas in your home. It is very important to preserve family time. Nowadays, everyone is glued to gadgets and everyone has their own mobile, own TV. So it's very important to have the family time and make meal time together or a bedtime routine together. These limits encourage family time and healthier eating habits and a healthier sleep. And spend some quality time with your child and family. So, in between all this, what can parents do for these online classes nowadays, which are happening? And it's become so difficult for parents also to manage online classes as this is something new and the children have to get used to this. And if they are working parents, it's all the more difficult to engage them. So, no parent is as such expected to take a full role of being a teacher and providing the same level of learning. But having said that, there are some things which they need to do to make their children sit and enjoy online classes. So especially for younger children. So what are those do's? So communicate the change to them. It's very important to talk to children and tell them, this is the new way of learning. And especially if it's a young child, to tell that what are the changes that occurred and how to engage. So develop a schedule for them. So previously when they were going to school, I'm sure they would have had a bedtime and then wake up time and lunch time. So now also maintain that kind of schedule so that they are very regular with what they do, and make the online classes fun for them. So if you tell them, okay, come, if you are telling that come, let's do the online classes in a very stressful way, they'll also feel stressed out about the classes. So make the classes fun for them. Sit with them and enjoy it with them. Involve your child in the preparation of these online classes, and make sure you have a designated place for your child every day. Not one day children sit on the sofa, one day children sit on the bed and watch. So it's not a very good way to sit for classes. Ensure a correct posture, that is a back straight, neck not bent too excessively. Give break if they feel restless. It's okay if they want to go for 1 minute or 2 minutes, and make sure they come back and sit so they'll feel energized for the next half of the class. And appreciate them even if it is not the amount of time they are sitting as you expected. Appreciate them for what they are doing, and do empathize with the children and the teachers because they're trying their best to do. And about the eyes, make sure screen should be kept at least 18 to 24 inches away from the child, slightly lower than or at the eye level. Preferably ask them to connect to bigger screens like TV, laptop, and desktop compared to mobiles. That is a better option. Use screen protectors and adjust the screen brightness. Don't let them watch the screen in dim light or very bright light. Children who use spectacles should wear them regularly. And remember this thing to avoid eye strain, that is every 20 minutes take a break, look at least 20 minutes 20 meters away for at least 20 seconds to reduce eye strain. And coming to what are the some of the things what parents shouldn't do is do not compare your child with anyone else. It's not only for online classes, in general it's better we don't compare, and it will be good for your child. Every child is different, and we need to understand that what they do is best in their capabilities, and try to make them do best in their capability itself. Don't bribe your child for the online classes by saying, if you sit for the online class, I'm going to give you a chocolate or I'm going to take you out. So this will not be going well in the long term. And don't push your child and stress out yourself. Ultimately, you all are doing your best and your child is doing your best. So make it fun and enjoyable experience for them, and not a stressful experience. So what I would like you to remember from my talk is that technology is changing brains, definitely, but we are not very clear how it is changing. Era is here to stay. So do help children navigate it, and do watch for the red flags of screen time. And remember the 3 C's, what I mentioned, that is the child, content, and the context of what you're giving screens. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Madhavi. I'm a clinical psychologist and a behavior therapist. Now, I'm going to talk about the problems which teachers are facing giving online sessions and how to manage them. And as you all know, that government has given a recent GO on 25th that we are going to continue the online sessions for a few more days. And from 21st, it's going to commence. And then teachers are already in preparation for their e-content and lesson plans. This is, I just wanted to share you that it is going to continue for a few more days. And now, if you're a teacher and if you're imparting education to the child, this is a crucial period for you. Like till now, you were only dealing with the children online, offline, like face to face. But now you are in a position where you cannot monitor what the child is doing, but you need to do your best and then track what he is doing. So in order to do that, we have few strategies which I have planned, and then we will be going in detail. And this is a learning process for both the teachers as well as the students. So parents and then all, it should be like a collaborative work where students, teacher, parents all together need to work in this particular platform. And teachers, just let me share a screen. Like this new technology which we are in right now, there are three different positions. Like teachers, we have divided the teachers into three categories, where one category of teachers are ready for the online sessions, that they are ready, they're getting involved, and few teachers are facing problems still in giving online sessions, and one group of teachers are in mid road, like they are neither completely in an open position nor in a closed position. So these are three positions which we have recently found out in a study. And I want to talk about few terminologies where we will go in deep. Digital natives are the students or the teachers who are born with the technology in their lives, and constantly they are using the technology. And digital immigrants are the teachers who are just learning the new technology and then training the children. See, this is an image where teacher is trying to connect online. I mean, they are sitting in a library and the teacher is reading a book, how to be online, and the child is on his laptop. So a child is on his laptop finding how to read a book. So this is a new scenario. So now teachers who are experienced in giving face-to-face offline sessions are ready for online sessions. And I want to highlight on the qualities of digital native people and digital immigrant teachers. See here, digital native learners prefer receiving information very quickly from multiple sources. They prefer parallel processing and multitasking. They prefer pictures, sounds, and videos before the text. They prefer random access to hyperlinked multimedia information. They prefer to interact and network simultaneously with many people at a time. They prefer to learn just in time before the exams. They also prefer instant gratification. They also they prefer learning only the relevant material which is given, and it should be like instant and funful and useful to them. But the digital immigrant teachers prefer to a slow and controlled release of information with limited sources. They prefer singular processing and single or limited tasking. They prefer to provide text before pictures, sounds, and videos. They also provide information linearly, logically, and sequentially in a step-by manner. They prefer to work independently rather than in a network and interact. They teach just in case. All the syllabus will be covered in a sequential manner. They prefer deferred gratification, and they also prefer to teach the curriculum and then the standardized things which they have learned. And in this new era, the teachers need to develop digital competencies, get trained in use of technology, learn and apply the digital and technological resources. They have to learn to search for resources which are suitable for their children, depending on the level of the child, age of the child, and also their class-wise, age-wise, and also there are few children who are with special needs. For them, we need to give a different type of resource. They have to become innovative and creative, and they have to support each other, cooperate with each other, collaborate, learn together. And they have to dare to accept the new scenario and challenge. And in this particular online education, children also need to understand few things. They also need to learn few things. Like they have to learn the appropriate ways to use technology in their own process of preparation, get knowledge and awareness of internet privacy and security. They have to organize their time, value skills and all. They have to learn ethical, legal use of social networks, materials and sources. Students should also develop a sense of cooperation and they have to have a control over the matter, what they have to search, what they have to browse in the system, organize and apply the methods which they have learned appropriately. And how to create an online room that actually works for a child as well as the teacher. Choose a platform which is accessible to all the children. Make students familiar. Before we start the session only, make the child familiar with the online classes. Create an online resource library where we will be uploading all the material, all the material which we are going to teach. It may be weekly wise or on the daily basis or monthly basis. The teaching which we are going to teach in sequence, it should be clearly outlined. The syllabus should be given in the resource library, and even the parents need to have access for that. Handouts and instructional materials should be provided in the resource library. Extension materials also, and along with that, we need to even provide with practical materials like such as worksheets and all. Some of the problem behaviors, because we are dealing with problem behaviors, we want to focus more on the problem behaviors which teachers are facing during this online sessions. Or I try to talk to few students, parents, teachers to find out these main problem behaviors which they are facing. There are some complaints where that children are not paying attention. They're not sitting for required amount of time in the session. They are getting easily distracted by external stimuli, may not be finishing their assignments. And some of them were also throwing temper tantrums. And some of the children whom I encountered were, they were sitting in the class, but involving in activities such as chatting on the other sides with the friends, playing online games, or disturbing other children who are listening in the class. And the problem reasons for the problem behaviors were found to be, some of them were having skill deficits on how to use the internet, how to sit appropriately, how to make a note. They had deficits in the skills. I mean, they were not able to understand the concept, and they were not able to take the notes. Before that, they were in the, like when they were attending the face-to-face sessions, they were directly seeing from the board, they were observing the teacher, they were doing, it was like face-to-face. They were just listening to the teacher, making a notes, and teachers, sometimes they were writing on the boards. All these things are missing nowadays. So because of that, they could not follow the instruction material which teachers are giving. And few of them expressed that they had technical issues, and some of them also expressed they have a lot of family distractions, if they don't have a proper sitting area where they can listen to the classes, that may be distracting to the child. And some of the issues were like the differences between the couple's parents was also a distraction to the child. Because of that, they were not able to pay attention and concentration on what teachers were teaching them. All these come under family distractions. And some of the children, because lack of motivation, maybe because of lack of motivation, or the class may be boring for them, they wanted to escape from the task. They were not ready to sit in front of the system and then read. And some of the children were expressing that they could not ask the questions. When we probed, they were telling that if I ask this question, maybe the other children in the class may laugh at us. So they were not ready to find out what what their doubts are. And some of them had inferiority complex, where they were not, because few of the children encountered these problems while they are in offline sessions. Like few of them criticizing them, making fun of when they ask a question. So all these led them to an inferiority complex where they were not ready to ask questions. And some children were having lot of attention seeking behaviors, and whenever they want to have the attention from the group or from the friends, they were indulging in these type of problem behaviors. And this is a checklist which we can have a track of when we find that there is some problem in the children. And here, one more thing I want to tell you is, because nowadays the classrooms are with children more than 100, and teacher is not in a position to track the behaviors of all the children. So that may be also a problem. So here the parent should take a role that they need to sit beside the child or little away from the child and keep a track on the behaviors. And also they can, this is a track list, track sheet where we need to write the initial of the child, need not be a full name, and the particular behavior which is leading which is creating a problem in the or which is a barrier for the child's learning. And also we need to note down the interval at what frequency the child is doing this. So we need to track the behaviors, and then we will probably will be knowing the function of the behavior. Maybe the child wants to go for a washroom, or maybe he is hungry. All these things we can track. If it is in this particular time period, and each and every school can make a separate tracking sheet as per their time schedule. And the steps followed before the intervention is identify the students with problem behavior, because there are children, more than 100 children in online sessions. So you can identify the children who have problem behaviors. For this, you can take a help of your colleagues or parents or the students, their peer groups. So we can divide the group, 100 children into different groups, where one will be made the monitor, and he'll be given a responsibility to monitor all the children's assignments and all. And talk to the child. Once we identify the student with problem behaviors, and we have to note down what are the particular problem behaviors of the child, and then talk to the child as well as the parent in person, not in the group, when they are in the session. So when you try to talk to them in the session, they may get demotivated. They may not, have that curiosity to talk, and they may not share what is happening with them when it is in the group. So if you talk to them in person, they may reveal what is their problem, why they are doing that. What is the reason for that? We can know about that. Find out the reason of problem behaviors from them. Plan a program depending on the child's program. If the child is not able to understand the concept when he is online, if he is not able to sit for required amount of time, so then if he has problem in identifying and in understanding those concepts, then you can give him an extra hour. Once all the sessions are done, you can give a short period where you can explain in detail to the children who are having problem with the concepts and all. And if the child has problem to understand at a stretch, then we go for task analysis, which means we have to break the task into shorter goals. Like when it is like a long-term goal, short-term goal, and then we have to divide the same task into different steps where he can easily get succeeded once we start with step-by-step manner. And also we can use token economy, where we use praises and we motivate the child to go for the next step. I will explain this in detail in later slides. And the ways to improve your child's behavior online are: study them first, like know what is the problem behavior. If supposing a child is distracting the class, then he'll be given a responsibility depending on his strengths. So see for his strengths and then give him a responsibility where he will not try to distract the other children. praise him for the good in them. It may not be academically, he may not be scoring well, but praise him for whatever good in him. Verbally acknowledge their efforts which they are putting in online class. Make the session light and digestible, so that, I mean, make it into a simpler way. And then activity based, you can give activities which they can understand easily. Show them that you care for them, empathize with them, don't judge them. Supposing if the child is not sitting properly, we come to a conclusion that he is, I mean, like, we generalize him like he is fit for nothing. So don't try to judge him on the basis of his performance. Just talk to them, find the reason for that, and then we can plan an intervention. Be empathetic to the child, keep a track of their progress, try to listen without responding. When they're trying to explain their problem, try to listen, because we may be missing if we don't listen appropriately. I mean, we cannot, if we don't listen properly, we may miss there. See, when he's trying to give explanation, it is better you go for a video call and then observe his body language as well. See, verbally we tell something, but inside maybe something. So try to find, is he telling truth? See, find out what is the problem there, and be a role model for them. Interact with the parents and try to solve the issues if they have any family problems, and encourage the parents to motivate their child in online sessions. And I tried to contact many students for this program. And then when I try to interact with them and find out what are the problems they are facing, few of them expressed these particular problems. So I want to touch on this also. Problem one is, many of them were telling online trainings are boring, because we are missing our friends, we are not seeing our teachers, we are not able to interact, and we are not able to ask our doubts online. So they were feeling it as a boring thing. So the solution for this is be dynamic, fun, and interactive, and better we can plan activity-based sessions for them. And some of the students were telling they had a lot of technical issues which they could not listen. So for this, what we can do is, once we have an online session, once the session is done, we need to record them and then upload them all in our resource library, so that the child can again go back and then listen to that and make notes of that. And one more problem they were telling is they were missing their friends. Learning from home can be lonely. They were not liking to be at home, because few students, they had lot of issues in the families, because fathers, mothers both are at home nowadays, and they are not able to balance their work as well as household chores, and then they are facing problems which was creating a stress on the parents as well as the children. So for that, what we can do is, we can coordinate virtual groups using chats, discussion boards, or cloud tools for collaboration. And then we can go on WhatsApp. We can create a WhatsApp group where all the children will be there in the group, and then we can try to discuss, and we can motivate them to, or also, if possible, if it is possible for the teachers, if they can spend some time on chat. If you can ask each and every child to ask their doubts in person, and after that the teacher can give explanation in the group, so that the child feels comfortable and then happy. And schedule a regular check-ins with the students. Are they in online, or just they are sitting and getting distracted from that, or they're distracting from others? And when they are feeling isolated, we can coordinate online group activities. And also, it may not always be related to academics. We can also plan few fun games in the group, so that the child get motivated. And then while communicating, better the teacher communicates personally using their names. then they feel that they are being remembered by the teacher, and then teacher is caring for them. Have a weekly virtual shows, tell the students, so have a weekly virtual shows, and then discuss all whatever happened for the whole week. And also, if they have any health issues, I think any of teachers can share their remedies, their experiences, because all the family members, maybe one family may be well off, one family may be having some health issues. So we can share in the group, so that because of this particular pandemic, so that discussions also how they overcame their health issues, that also can be posted in the groups. That will motivate the other family member. And also follow formative assessments with an online peer review. Actually, what you can do is, while in the session also, we can ask, once we have done with half of the content, we can give a quiz type, so that they can answer, so the children will be alert. And also we can plan one more thing. If there are 100 number of children, we can randomly select the children that roll numbers. What we do in our surveys is, researchers is, we select the children randomly. Supposing you can even select even number roll numbers or odd roll numbers, and then ask, like, it depends on that day teacher's mood. It should not be daily the same routine, so that the children will know before only, then they will be alert. So if you're selecting randomly, the children will be alert and they will try to listen to the session. And before starting a class, welcome to the class, you just give a small positive video, so that the child gets motivated. And also you can make a collage of the students with positive qualities, each and every child with one positive quality. That also you can make. Schedule video lessons via Skype or Zoom. And connecting with their peers and their teachers will give students extra motivation that they need to engage with distant and online learning for an extended period. Yes. And one more thing, what I found out was lack of motivation in the online learners. So in order to motivate these children, online learners, we need to create a smart goal plan, where the goals will be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound, depending on the individual child. We can make few groups, and one group will be having one type of activity, one group will be having the other activity, which they will be sharing at the end of the week. That plan also works a lot, works pretty good for them. And we can also give like token economy, which I was telling. So we can ask if the child didn't show any problem behavior, he was very well behaved, and he was doing the assignments appropriately, he will be earning few points at the end of each day. And weekly we can 1,000 points. It depends on our individual. We can even go for 25 points per day or more than that. So if we decide 1,000 points weekly he has to get, if he collects 1,000 points for that week, he will be achieving a certificate, which we will be sending online. And if he completes a set amount of lessons for that week, that also he will be earning points. And if the child has some, supposing if the child is poor in academics, even when he's in offline sessions, but if he set a new best in that particular online session, he will be appreciated and he'll be given points. So this will work out a lot with the children. Depending on the age, we can decide what type of plan we need to go. And motivate the child with rewards and praises. Rewards may be different, like rewards may be tangible rewards, it may be social reward. Depending on the age of the child, we can go for different rewards. we can make a chart and then give a reward, and that will be displayed for the whole week. At the end of the week, we will be collecting, we'll be making a collage of the children who have achieved the rewards and praises, and then we will be displaying it on the board. And give a positive feedback messages of their behaviors to the parents as well as the child. And also use MS Paint to create simple badges for different student achievements. And emailing a certificate with congratulations to the parents will motivate the child a lot. And this will only motivate the child in who is good at academics. But we need to reinforce or motivate the child who communicate maturely and respectfully online, sets a new personal best in him, puts on efforts to complete additional activities, shows significant sign in improvements. So even these children will be rewarded and appreciated. Motivate them with a meaningful feedback. We need to write a thoughtful, detailed feedback and then mail it to them, and should communicate privately with individual students if they have any issues in the sessions. Images, videos to support your comment and explanation, also small videos to motivate them also, we can send it through mail. And we need to work in collaboration with the parents, as the parents play a vital role in keeping the students motivated. Communicate with the parents directly, not through messages. Directly give a call to them and then talk to them and explain them what exactly their child should be doing at home, workplace, or resource requirements for the child which they need to provide. Parents need to provide few requirements, few resources to the child. So we need to explain the parents what we need to give. And due date of assignment must also be intimated to the parents, where some of the children may need help of the parents to finish their assignments. Simple activities that they can do on daily basis at home. And we can also motivate the children in home learning, helping the parents in household chores. And also, if there are any signs of disengagement in the child, we need to talk to the parents and then need assistance of the parents in that particular area, particular child. And if the children are in high school, then we can go for this particular self-assessment and reflection chart, where we can create a questionnaire encouraging the students to reflect their own learning for that particular task. Google form is very useful for that. In this, what we need to do is ask the children to identify 3 things which they have learned in that particular week. Identify 3 challenges which they experienced in that particular week. Describe the strategies they use to overcome these challenges. These 3 challenges, we need to encourage the children, so that the other children will also learn from the learning experience of these children. Identify the areas where they are still unsure. So this will be given at the end of the week. And then if there are some still unresolved issues, that can be addressed. And also ask them to write down the questions which are still remaining unsolved. Ask them to write 3 specific initiatives that they will use to tackle areas of difficulty, and model the productive answers to these questions. Teachers may answer the questions or post these questions in the group and ask other children to give their replies. And 7 strategies to stay motivated in online classes. This is for the teachers as well as the students and parents also. Think about the reasons why you are in online sessions. Create a realistic goals, like SMART goals we talked about. Visualize the outcome. Yes, we have a challenge, but we need to take it as a challenge and we need to move, but because there is no other go. This is the only platform which is available right now. Create a sensible schedule for the child. Reward yourself for the achievements. It may be 1%, but reward yourself. Aim to balance housework, classwork, all together. Stay positive. And surprising benefits, we also found these benefits on few studies. It consolidates vital soft skills in the children like time management. Technologically, they are becoming fluent. They are responsible in using of technology, and remote teamwork is there. It also encourages the student to take ownership of their own learning. It opens a student's eye to learn outside the classroom. Till now they are in the classroom. They will also learn that we can even learn some things in online. In absence of teacher, even they can browse the material. They can get their own resources. They can try for their own resources as well. And I have few tips for parents. See that there are no distractions to your child while they are in online sessions, because some of them were complaining that my sister comes in between. I can hear the sounds from some other places, which is distracting to me when I try to talk to the children. Help them to understand the concepts. If they are not able to follow what teacher said in the class, try to explain it to them. Monitor, or if you're not able to explain these particular concepts, take the help of teachers, or you can as well take the help of online resources, because all the recordings will be kept in the resource library. Monitor what they are doing while in online classes. I have seen few parents just leaving the child and they are on their work. So I've seen few children indulging in different activities which they are not supposed to do. Spend quality time with your child. Don't try to criticize why you're doing like this, why you're doing like that. Just try to spend quality time with them to motivate them. Focus on the strength of your child. We always tend to focus on the negatives or weaknesses of the child. Try to focus on the strengths, so that when we appreciate and when we praise these strengths, when we reinforce these strengths, even the weaknesses we can convert the weaknesses into strength later on. Use positive reinforcement. Whenever he shows a positive sign in his behavior, just reinforce that immediately and provide them with small responsibilities. They'll be given a responsibility to finish, so that when we give a responsibility, they feel that they are a part of their family and they are being acknowledged. Celebrate their efforts efforts and achievements when they are in online sessions. Maybe they are not scoring good in online classes, but even their efforts should be appreciated, so that they get motivated and they can do better later on. And recommendations, I have few recommendations. Change and learning must be engaged to unity and cooperation from the institutions, teachers, students, as well as the parents. Curriculum must be revised and planned as per the online sessions, because we cannot take all the sessions online complete 45 minutes. Maybe we cannot finish the whole content which we take offline. Resources must be prepared, tested, and verified before they are uploaded in the resource library. Teachers' training programs must be organized. Change should be structured and well planned. Thank you all.